I mean, so I've been working in sustainability for 20 years, and I have to say that for a very long period of that time, it could be quite a frustrating role because on the one hand, you were working, and I've been working with corporates all my career, but you're working towards helping corporates become more sustainable. And by sustainable, I mean, managing the risks and opportunities from the environmental, the social, and the governance agendas. So it covers a whole range of topics, and what those topics are will depend quite clearly by sector. And I'll get to the professional services bit specifically in a minute. But so for many years, it was quite frustrating because you saw companies trying to do the bad thing, but the right thing, but the market not really responding, regulation not responding, investors not responding, and so therefore it kind of didn't quite progress as fast as probably was needed. That has now changed quite significantly over the last 3 years, particularly with investors coming on board and really seeing that there is a material value to good sustainability performance. It's really changed the way things are. And I think that's really quite fascinating. Now, part of the driver for that was the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015 as well. They have all kind of created a framework through which regulators, investors, customers, individuals, companies are much better able to address sustainability issues. Now, you said, when times are tough, it tends to fall by the wayside, and that certainly was the concern at the start of the pandemic. When you got a sense that actually, because of the pandemic, considerations or concerns around climate change, the need to act on some of these issues would fall in the background, and actually quite the opposite is true. We've seen 2020 being a real time of stronger commitments towards sustainability, both from regulators. We've seen countries commit to net zero targets. We've had a very ambitious series of plans from the European Commission. We see the Biden administration now pushing both the climate and the social justice agendas forward. And at the same time, investors have not lost any interest in this. The market for green bonds is absolutely exploding. ESG companies, generally companies that do well on ESG, have actually outperformed the market over the last year for two main reasons. One is that they are better, they're less leveraged, so less debt means, in periods of crisis, you fare slightly better. And second, better relationship with stakeholders. And by that, I mean employees, customers, suppliers, and also investors. So it's actually been a really good year, but what it shows is a clear trend. Now, what's the role of professional services firms within all of that? Because, quite clearly, our impact as a professional services organization is reasonably small. For most of us, it might have to do with travel footprint, office footprint, and that usually is pretty much it in terms of major environmental footprints. So whilst it's important to manage that, and certainly at Freshfields we have managed that as well. We've got ambitious environmental targets, we've got ambitious diversity targets, both of which were communicated this year. On the whole, it's not the way in which, as professional services firms, we can really have an impact and serve both society and our clients in the best possible way. The other ways to have an impact relate, first of all, in terms of collaborations. So working both in partnerships with our clients or with other professional services firms or with regulators to come up with the kind of solutions that the market and society needs today. These are market solutions that actually drive growth, drive profit, and come up with these solutions, given the scale of the challenges that we are facing, really requires partnership. And we've done a lot of partnerships like that. So we've also signed up to some existing partnerships. We signed up to RE100, which is the Renewable Energy 100 commitment. So you commit to using only renewable energy throughout all your operations by 2030. We've signed up to science-based targets to ensure that our climate targets are in line with the climate science. And we've also created some of our own partnerships, and I'll highlight two very briefly. One is something that we're doing with the United Nations, looking at the framework for impact. In other words, assessing in a number of different jurisdictions the extent to which an asset manager is able to take a decision with regards to the allocation of an asset for sustainability reasons that they may not have done for financial reasons. To give you an example, can a mainstream fund manager decide to exclude a company that generates the majority of its revenue from the production of coal? It might be that the financial case is strong, but can they do that even if that financial case for excluding that company is not strong. And we're looking at that, and we're expecting to have results in all these jurisdictions by the end of July. The second point is the one around, the second partnership, sorry, is the New York Circular Economy Initiative, which Richard alluded to earlier. And that's an initiative where we brought together some key players from the City of New York. So the Mayor's Office, the Economic Development Corporation, who drives a lot of economic activity in New York, as well as companies like HSBC, ING, Goldman Sachs, Unilever, Cisco Systems, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation as a key think tank in this space, to help come up with a strategy for New York City to become a more circular city. In other words, to take waste out of its environment effectively through a number of different solutions. Reducing, increasing the length at which products stay alive, increasing the reuse of products, the refurbishment of products, reducing waste collections, increasing recycling, all of those different avenues. If you're interested in that, we have a website, circularnyc.org, where you can find out all about the research that we did and who participated in it. Now, I want to now focus very, towards the end on the third pillar. So I talked about our own footprint as a professional service firm, which is relatively small. The second point is the importance of collaborations. And the third point, and the key point for me, is working with clients. Our clients need us as professional services firms to help them in their transitions to a sustainable future. There is no doubt about it. And we see ourselves as lawyers, we see our role as being, the kind of law firm that can enable the change that our clients want to make. We don't want to be barriers to change. We want to be enablers of change. And we believe that there is significant demand for the kind of services that, lawyers, but other, accountants, architects, financial organizations, etc., all kinds of professional services organizations are able to provide to help clients make that transition. And the great part of the story, of course, is that drives revenue for us as well. We are seeing a significant growth in the mandates that we're getting from companies, clients who want to improve on their own sustainability. And that's driving revenue for us as well. So, it's a complete win-win situation for the society, for our clients, and for ourselves. And I'll leave it.